Hello and welcome back to Daily English with Lily and Leo. I'm Lily.
And I'm Leo. Really glad you're here today.
Today's topic is one I've been thinking about for a while: technology and the future. AI, smart homes, and the big question: what will our lives actually look like in 10 years?
I have strong opinions on this. Some optimistic, some slightly terrifying.
Very Leo. Before we dive in, if you're new here, this is an English learning podcast for B1 and B2 level learners. Every episode has vocabulary, grammar, and a motivation section. So hit subscribe, it's free, and let's get into it.
All right, let's start with a simple question. What's the one piece of technology that actually changed your everyday life the most in the last 5 years?
My fitness app. I know that sounds small, but I run every morning and the app tracks everything: pace, distance, heart rate, recovery time. It gives me a training plan and tells me when to rest. It's like having a coach in my pocket.
A coach that doesn't shout at you.
Exactly. One I can ignore without consequences. But honestly, it transformed how I train. Before I had it, I just ran. Same route, same pace, no real structure. Now I actually improve week by week.
So it transformed your training. Okay. For me, it's probably the whole podcast setup. Microphone, editing software, recording workflow. 4 years ago, I had absolutely no idea how to record or edit audio. Now it's just Tuesday.
That's a good point. Things that felt complicated 5 years ago just become normal. We stop noticing them.
Right. And that's what gets me about the next 10 years. If that much changed without us really noticing, what's coming that we genuinely can't picture yet?
So what do you think is actually coming? Not science fiction, real life.
AI, obviously. I already use it at work. For research, for checking sources, for summarizing long documents. Things that used to take me 2 hours now take 20 minutes.
Does that worry you?
Both, honestly. Some journalism tasks might disappear. Why would anyone pay someone to summarize a press release when a tool can do it in 5 seconds? That part is real and I think about it. But the thing I actually do, going somewhere, talking to people, noticing the detail in the room that doesn't fit, asking the right question at exactly the right moment, I don't think a machine can do that. Not yet, anyway.
That's an important distinction. Routine tasks might be automated, but the human part, judgment, curiosity, genuine connection, that's much harder to replace.
And look, I could be completely wrong. Maybe in 10 years, there's an AI that goes to press conferences and writes better stories than I ever could. I genuinely don't know, but I hope not.
Leo, I have to tell you, you're using today's grammar point very naturally right now. Might, could.
I didn't even notice. It must be all those hours of podcasting finally paying off.
It must be. Okay, from my side of things, fitness and health technology is changing incredibly fast. There are already devices that might one day predict health problems before you feel any symptoms. Not just you walked 10,000 steps today. More like your body is showing signs of stress this week. Pay attention.
That's incredible. And also slightly surveillance-y.
Yes, exactly. That's the tension with all of this, isn't it? The same technology that could save your life is also collecting enormous amounts of data about you. Who has access to it? Where does it go?
This is where I get genuinely uneasy. We already rely on our phones for almost everything. Navigation, banking, communication, shopping. The more we rely on these systems, the more vulnerable we become if something goes wrong, or if someone decides to misuse that data.
And that's not paranoia. It's already happened in smaller ways. What about smart homes? I was reading about apartments where everything is connected. The fridge knows when you're running low on milk, the heating adjusts automatically, the lights respond to your mood.
Mark would have a complete breakdown of joy.
Oh, absolutely. You'd have a spreadsheet tracking the optimal temperature for every room at every hour of the day.
He already controls his entire flat from his phone. Lights, heating, the coffee machine. He told me the coffee is ready before he even gets out of bed. His exact words were, "Manual coffee preparation is not an efficient use of morning hours."
That is so Mark.
Mark, on the other hand, I mentioned smart homes to him once. He just looked at me and said, "If the fridge has to tell you that you need milk, you weren't paying attention to your fridge."
That's genuinely a philosophy.
It is, and he's not entirely wrong. But Thomas also only shops in physical stores and has never spoken to a voice assistant, so he may find the next 10 years quite surprising.
He's at least consistent.
Completely consistent. I respect it even as I think it might not be a sustainable position.
Would you want a smart home?
Certain parts, yes. Heating that turns on before I get home. In winter, my flat is freezing and I always forget to switch it on. Fine, yes please. Lights I can control from my phone? Sure, fine. But a fridge that orders groceries automatically? I don't know. It might order the wrong things or judge me for how much pizza I have in there.
The fridge would definitely flag the pizza.
And it would only ever order dinner pizza, obviously.
I'd override that setting immediately. Breakfast pizza, first thing in the morning.
This is exactly why we could never share a smart home.
Never. Okay, big picture. 10 years from now, what's actually different about everyday life?
I think some jobs that exist right now may become obsolete, not because the need disappears, but because the tasks can be automated faster and cheaper. That already happened with a lot of manufacturing in the 20th century. It may happen now with knowledge work.
That's unsettling.
It is, but every time technology automates one set of tasks, new jobs appear that didn't exist before. When I started in journalism, nobody had podcast producer or newsletter writer as a job title. Now those are full careers.
My job barely existed 10 years ago. Fitness, content creation, podcasting about well-being, the technology made it possible.
Exactly. And what might appear in the next 10 years, we can't even name it yet. People will build careers around tools that don't exist yet. Things that feel cutting edge today will feel completely normal, and normal jobs will be things we haven't imagined.
What I hope changes, maybe optimistically, is healthcare. Not just tracking fitness, but real early diagnosis. If technology could catch serious illness earlier, that saves lives in a way that's hard to argue with.
That I completely agree with. If I have to choose between my coffee machine knowing my schedule and technology catching a health problem early, obviously I choose the second.
The coffee machine stays dumb.
The coffee machine stays dumb. Although, okay, I lied slightly. I do want the coffee ready when I wake up. Biscuit is already the alarm clock. I could use the help on the coffee side.
How is Biscuit, by the way? Has she started ordering things from your laptop yet?
Not yet, but she sat on my keyboard while I was researching AI for this episode and added 7 random letters and a question mark to my notes document. I left them in. It may be her best contribution to journalism so far.
She's participating in the research process.
Fully engaged. She's also been investigating the mystery box again, sniffed the corner very seriously for about 3 minutes, then walked away, still sealed.
She knows something.
She must know something. The someday jar is still €4.60, by the way, untouched this week. She supervises it daily. I think she may be more disciplined about it than I am.
She might be a better financial manager than you.
Almost certainly. Okay, vocabulary time. 5 words from today.
First, automate. To automate something means to use technology to make a process happen without a person doing it manually. The factory automated its entire production line. Some journalism tasks might be automated in the future.
Second, predict. To predict means to say what you think will happen before it happens. The fitness app predicted I needed a rest day, and it was right. It's very hard to predict exactly how our lives will change.
Third, transform. To transform something means to change it completely in a deep, fundamental way. Smartphones transformed how we communicate. The training app transformed how I run.
Fourth, obsolete. If something is obsolete, it's no longer useful because something better or newer has replaced it. Fax machines became obsolete when email arrived. Some jobs may become obsolete as AI develops.
And fifth, rely on. To rely on something or someone means to depend on them. You need them and you trust them to be there. We already rely on our phones for almost everything. You can always rely on Mark to have a spreadsheet for any situation.
That last example sentence is tested and verified.
From real life. Okay, grammar. And this fits today's topic perfectly. Modals for speculation. Might, could, may, and must.
And as Lily noticed earlier, we'd been using them all episode before we even named them. That's the ideal way to learn grammar. You absorb it through context, and then the rule confirms what you already feel.
So here's how they work. We use these modals when we're not completely certain about something. We're making a guess, speculating, or drawing a logical conclusion from what we know.
Might and may express possibility. Something is possible, but not certain. They're roughly the same level of confidence, though may sounds a little more formal. AI might change journalism a lot. I said that earlier. It's possible, probably likely, but I genuinely don't know.
These devices may one day predict health problems before you feel any symptoms. Same idea, a real possibility, not a guaranteed fact.
Could expresses theoretical possibility, often a bit more uncertain or distant than might. A machine could go to press conferences someday. It's theoretically possible, but less certain than might. Some jobs could disappear in the next decade.
And must is different from all three of these. We use must when we're making a strong, logical deduction, not guessing, but concluding based on evidence. It must be all those hours of podcasting finally paying off. I have a reason for thinking that. It follows logically.
Mark has 17 smart devices connected in his flat. He must love technology. That's a conclusion from the evidence, not a guess from nowhere.
A quick way to remember the difference. Might, may, could, you don't know for sure. Must, you're almost certain because the logic points clearly in one direction.
Let's try a quick practice. I'll describe a situation. You tell me which modal fits.
Ready.
Biscuit is sitting on Leo's keyboard. 4 new browser tabs have opened. The volume is at maximum. And there's a new note that says, QWERTY in the research document.
She must be very focused. Or she could be running her own competing podcast.
She might be more prepared for it than we were for episode 1. Your turn.
Lily has been awake since 5:30, ran 10 kilometers, recorded a full podcast episode, and is still smiling.
She must really love mornings. Or she might be completely unreasonable, depending on your perspective.
Both are valid deductions.
Both are perfectly logical.
Okay, motivation. And I think it connects directly to everything we talked about today.
Go on.
We spent a lot of time talking about uncertainty. Jobs might change, things we rely on could transform completely. The future may look nothing like what we can picture right now. And here's what I find genuinely reassuring about that.
Tell me.
Well, the skills that don't become obsolete are the human ones. Curiosity, the ability to have a real conversation, to keep learning, to notice things, to adapt. Those can't be automated, and they're exactly what you're building when you sit down and study English, or any language.
You're not just learning a vocabulary list, you're building something flexible, a skill that works in 1,000 different situations. Work, travel, connection, reading, thinking in a completely different way. That doesn't go obsolete.
And you don't have to predict exactly how you'll use it. You just have to keep going, 1% every day.
1% every day.
The world will create space for the skills you're building right now, even if we can't name that space yet.
Especially then.
Especially then.
All right, closing time. Today, technology and the future. What might change in the next 10 years? AI, smart homes, health tech, and the jobs that don't exist yet. 5 vocabulary words: automate, predict, transform, obsolete, and rely on. Grammar, modals for speculation. Might, could, may, and must.
And we confirmed that Mark's coffee machine already knows his schedule. Thomas will never speak to a smart device. And Biscuit's keyboard research contains 7 unexplained letters and 1 question mark.
The mystery of the question mark continues.
If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe. It's free, and it really does help us reach more people who are learning English. And leave us a comment. What technology changed your everyday life the most? Or what do you think will be different in 10 years? We read everything.
We genuinely love to hear from you. And if you know someone who's learning English, share the podcast with them. It might be exactly what they need right now.
Until next time, keep going, keep learning.
1% every day. Take care, everyone. Bye.
Bye!